Hey there everyone, friendly Neighborhood Webhead here, and today I wanted to take the time to talk about my opinion regarding gaming remasters, because as you know, like over the past couple of years, it's been quite, a popular trend in the gaming world, and I wanted to give my pros and cons on the subject. So, let's get this started, shall we? Okay, so let's start with the pros. Basically, remasters are ports of older generation games brought to newer consoles so that people who couldn't get them the first time around can be able to get their hands on them now. And the advantage of this is, well, as I just explained right now. Even though these games, were really popular back in their prime, back in the consoles they debuted, a lot of people didn't get to play them. And so, remasters cater to both the fans of the games and for those who never got to play them. And I got to say that that's an advantage because that way you can be able to see what all the fuss is about a game that everyone was really excited for back in the day. And that's one of the advantages of having remasters. Another advantage, another pro that I can give to remasters is the fact that they're easy on your wallet. Because normally for one game you pay $60, but for remasters, which normally contain 2 to 3 games, the price for remasters is about like $40 in average. And that's a pretty sweet deal. I mean, 3 games for the price of 1, that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's a pretty good, a good enough reason for a person to go and purchase games, remasters of older games, for their newer consoles, because hey, for the price, it's pretty good. Another pro that I can give to remasters is in the fact that they help catch players up with new installments. I'm going to put the HD remixes of the Kingdom Hearts series as a perfect example. Not only are they, ports of older generation games, brought into the PS3, but they bring additional content, in the form of the final mixes. Content that we never, actually got in the original releases over here, in the rest of the world. And, well, in addition to serving as, a nostalgia factor, the remixes serve as, catch-up material so that we can be able to, refresh our memory and get even more hype for Kingdom Hearts 3. So, remasters, they do a good job of not only catering to the nostalgia factor within the player, but they also hype people up for the inevitable sequel, if there is one, for the other game franchises that get their remasters done, And on the subject of sequels, I think that another reason why, remasters are a good thing is that, the publishers of these games, they put the remasters out into the market and they gauge, how much money they make. And if they make enough money, then, it prompts the companies to make sequels, for the franchises established. So I think, that's another pro. And I think it's pretty good. And the final pro that I will give remasters is in the fact that nowadays, there are a lot of gamers that want to get their hands on classic games, but sometimes due to monetary problems or, a lack of said game, in retail stores or even online stores, because let's face it, sometimes there are games that one is looking for that, they're just either impossible to find or ridiculously overpriced. And, that's another pro that I give to remasters because they make getting those classic games easier, more accessible, and, easier on a person's wallet. So, that's, I think that's it for the pros. And, okay, now I'm going to go into the cons. Okay, a con that I can mention about remasters is that sometimes, they have bugs. They have little glitches that weren't present in their original releases, but, apparently, pass over into the remasters. And, I guess you can call that a con. And another con would be that, okay, for the games that get their remasters, well, the original releases, well, obviously they were individually packed, each one had their individual case. But in the terms of remasters, it's really only one box for a few games. And, well, maybe, I think it's just a little nitpicky thing. But, for some people, they might not like, having all of those remasters, but, just slimmed down to just one package per games instead of, having the 1, 2, and 3 all neatly packaged up and looking really nice on a shelf or something. But yeah, But although that's kind of a little nitpicky, but I think that could be a con to some people. But I think that the biggest con that I can attribute to remasters is that they're restricting, the gaming scene in terms of new properties. Like, nowadays, most of what we see are remasters or sequels to already established franchises. But, in terms of actual new franchises, that there's not as many as there were a few years ago. And I think it's because, game developers don't want to risk too much nowadays. Because, well, the economy is kind of rough, I can understand that. But, there are people that have to take risks. But I can also understand that for a new franchise to make a foothold in the gaming world, it lives or dies by the audience. Like, if gamers don't like the franchise, well, it'll be a big flop. And I can understand why developers, would avert themselves from making a new franchise when they can be able to milk, an already existing franchise by releasing either remasters or sequels. But, I mean, that's not to say that all, the franchises apply to this, because, some franchises take a few years to crank out their sequels and also, but, generalizing about this, that's like the biggest con that I can visualize, that I can see in terms of remasters. But yeah, other than those two cons, remasters are actually generally good because, they give players, longtime fans of certain franchises or newcomers, they give them the opportunity to be able to experience, older installments, and hyping them up for new games in the franchise. But it also restricts, the opportunity for new game franchises to grow. So, but that's like the only thing that I can, criticize about the remasters. But yeah, those are my 2 cents on the subject. What about all of you? Do you like remasters? Do you think that they're good? Do you think that they provide a beneficial advantage to the gaming community? Whatever you think, let me know in the comment section below. And well, until next time, I've been the Friendly Neighborhood Webhead, signing out.